Alright, good evening. My name is Mutgren, and this is Dad's Old Shop. I am here today to work on the spoons. I also have left all my headphones somewhere, and the other ones I have here aren't charged. So, if anything sounds super off, let me know. I'm just going to be up here in the corner, out of the path of action here. I can move these probably. That's fine. And let me just get this here. All good. Okay. So, we had worked on a spoon blank from last time. So we took something that looked like this and we made it look like this. We made big wood, smaller wood, and a lot of wood chips in the process. So now comes the refinement angle on this. Probably only going to get to, as I said in the post, spoon-shaped object. Spoon-shaped object. So what I'm going to try to do is center this bowl up here a little bit and just try to get like a through line. Because like, regardless of the architecture, the spoon is going to have a part where it's all the middle. That sounds silly, but it made sense in my head. And I guess I'm going to use this for the line of best fit here, just like the corner. So corners here, coming up at an angle like this, actual angle doesn't matter. You do want it to be probably about halfway on here. So what is that? That is 1 and 2, 3, 1 1/4. So 1 1/4, or sorry, 2 1/4. 2 1/4 would be 1 1/8. So about there at the neck. Okay. So the line, can't really see it super well, but about here. And the wood itself looks good at that point. Like there's no like knots or anything. Gets a little bit wild up here, so if we end up losing some of this up here, that's fine. Part of that is just because it's the end of the logs that I had. So this is actually all wax. So we're just going to use this bottom corner here. And also, I noticed this when I was setting up. I accidentally saw it on my bench a couple streams ago. So now I have a nice little line to guide myself on to where is in frame and where's not. Also, I beat the crap out of it earlier. So retopping is definitely on the list now. So we go from the corner to there. And we're just going to whoop. All right, so that's about the line that we're looking at. I mean, it'd be a little bit there, but whatever. So that gives us the most usable space for a bowl. So let me go get my compass. Compass. There's a couple different diameters that we're actually looking at. Also, I'm going to get my other thing here. Yeah, hey, how you doing, Sugi? Yep, it's all reference points here. None of this is really measured, because wood don't care. I'm just gonna use a compass to stencil what the bowl should roughly be. I can always change it, elongate it later, but I just kind of want to see what I'm looking at here. And how big do I want the bowl to be? It's like that. So it'd be half that. Something like that? Okay. So you don't want to go right up to the edge of it because you want some room, so we'll just dial it back a little bit. Okay. So something like this here. Yeah, see I'm going off, so it's definitely going to be a little bit smaller. But spoons aren't perfect bowls, except for soup spoons. And even they're a little off. Okay. So this is the rough idea of the circle that I'm going to use. And we're going to obviously thin that down a little bit. So we have that there. I don't want to thin that down too. What looks good? What looks good? Just trying to get into the previous spot there. So we're probably cutting it down like here. And then matching that is kind of like here. Okay. So something like that. Actually, it's hard to see because of all the what's from all the previous marking, but try to make that a little bit darker so it shows up. There we go. So something like this. And we'll deal with all the reference cuts, because the first thing we have to do is cut this in half, which is going to be, which seems like it's not a hard task, but it is a bit because none of this is flat or even. This is all just taken from a log that has just been chopped down and rived. So I'm not going to get a flat surface across it, and I'm not going to get a parallel surface. So we're just going to do our best here. And I actually have a center finder. Hold on. This is probably the use case for this. So this is just a easy center finder. It just fits onto two things. It doesn't measure parallel. It doesn't care about any of those things. What it does is it just grabs two edges of things and uses that to figure out what the middle part of it is. So I'm pretty sure this is a tool that had been made when people discovered wood, because it is dead simple. It's just a pylon, or two pylons that just have a marker in between. So we can use this to get the rough estimate of where it should be. Part of the hard part is just that the way that this is constructed, there's not a lot of lead that comes out. So I use this a lot whenever I'm doing stuff that isn't like surfaced. Also, anything too short doesn't work. But anything that isn't like surfaced or anything like that, it's just get the best that you can. No need to be perfect. Nobody is scoring it. So now I am going to start scoring it. I'm just trying to give a knife line here, just so that I have something to dig into. All right, so that one is there, and then I'm just trying to expand it a little bit, just so that I have a good place for my saw to sit. There we go. Right, especially when you get into shop furniture stuff. It's like, man, don't look too hard at it. It's shy. It still takes a lot for me not to pick apart my own work. Like, there's a rocking horse that I made that I'm going to restore before I give it to somebody for their kid's 1-year birthday coming up. Because they made fun of me for making it. You know, play fun. It's fine. But my child kind of damaged it by being really rough with it. So, but every time I look at that, I'm just like, oh, I could have done better on the stain. And everybody else just goes, you just handmade a rocking horse. Why are you, what are you getting in your own head about? Yeah, we'll just go on the top here. That should allow me to use this as a guide for the rest of it. So, how do I want to work hold this? Like, I know the way that I probably should. But how do I want to? Yeah, okay. Or at least to get it started, we're just going to use this clamp. Good old thumb screw clamp that I still haven't made the adjustments to that I've been talking about for months. Because something always comes up. Because I'm still not worried at this point about getting everything all through. I'm more worried about getting everything started on the cut. So I can actually probably go for part 2, which is go get a longer clamp and clamp that to my bench. The bench does have a pretty big apron on it, but usually doesn't stop anything from clamping. I mean, it's not as good as it could be if it was like a flatter one, but it should be fine. All right, where are you, saw? Seesaw. Seesaw. I see the saw. Okay. So we're just going to go find that line and just start scoring. And notice that my other line is off already. Nope, nope, it's actually fine-ish. It's more just that the piece is twisted, bowed, everything. Okay. So we got that in there. I just want to try to carry that up to the top. Alright, carried in. Okay, that's probably good enough to start doing more rippy cuts. Alright, perfect. And now we're going to start on the bottom part here. Okay, as long as they kind of match up. Because the place where the thickness matters most, honestly, is the bowl. And as long as I get something usable. And even if it's only usable for one of them, I can just make the other one into a spatula or something. The spatula is just kind of a flat bowl. Or you call it a mixing paddle, you know? It's a good thing about this type of stuff. I'm never the first person to make a mistake doing it. So, a lot of inspiration on dealing with stuff not coming out as initially planned. Okay. Also, this is going to be fun once I start cutting into it, because this is, while dry, it's all ride to it. It's all ribbon. So, any internal stresses it has, it still has. I haven't cut those out of it. So, they might start appearing. BKB. That's the first half there. Okay. Now we undo this abomination a little bit and see where we go from here. Probably something like this, right? Yeah. Just kind of start getting down. And something that might be helpful is just slapping something up against here so that when I'm pulling, it's not, it has something that's supporting it. So we're just going to use this little block here. Is that fine? Yeah, it's probably fine. And the hold fast and just, oh. So the reason why that took so a while to stick is the block underneath of it is messed up. So since this bench has gone through a fair amount of use, some of the blocks that the hold fast needs, because the hold fast need a certain amount of depth to engage, and the top of this is only a 1.5, which is not enough for them to engage. So I have other blocks of additional 1.5 to make it 3 inches, which is enough for it to engage. But some of them have cracked and broken, and I've replaced some of them, but they have also cracked and broken. Just because getting a piece of wood that small and that thick with that type of hole just makes it susceptible to breaking over time, which is fine. It's meant as a consumable, but it takes me a while to get one of them to stick it, and that's what it tells me. All right, and now we're going to flip it. I'm going to move that so I don't open it onto my hand. Yeah, right? Basically free. That's what they're there for, man. Okay. Let me just try to get you more seated. It's kind of hard to turn a handle like that. Maybe I should do something that I keep talking about doing. Actually, they wouldn't sit that flush. Actually, now that I think about it, they wouldn't sit flush to the bench like this if I had them. Well, I'd have to make them out of metal. Or find a metal bar or something. All of this to mimic the fraction of a bench hook's power. Oh, see? Wiggled loose. So, let me see if I can just get you over there. So that's a little bit why. If I just do this, because if I make everything flat and parallel, it should do better. Ah! Wood pile behind me didn't like that. Oh, I forgot to actually close the vise. It'd be helpful. Ooh. There we go. Good, so I'm starting to feel it in my wrist. Last week in volleyball, I felt kind of weird on my left hand. So, that's fine. Just left hand feels a little bit funny. Mostly the thumb. At least I'm guessing that's what happened. How bad that game went last week, it could have been all sorts of... I could have just played so badly that my body rejected it. That's alright. I'll do better this week. Thank you very much for coming directly at my face. Perfect. Eventually, this will be in a position where I can, I'm just, doing the back hook. What's the word? Chuck it up in the vise, which, in general, makes these cuts a lot easier. I said I was going to bandsaw it, but I decided against it. Because I have moved everything, and everything is clean and doesn't have a bunch of dust on it. If I run that bandsaw, all that dust will return. And I like to enjoy a shop without fine mechanical dust for a while longer. I can feel right around here part of the grain. I think you might see it from here. Yeah, there's a little knot there. Part of the grain flips a little bit here, like you can feel it when you're cutting in. So it was not something that was impacted by having it riven. So now that it's being cut, it's starting to act funny. I just want to be careful because I don't want to cut through this and then hit directly into the clamp. While the teeth and stuff like that are tough, I don't want to do that. Because it would just be my luck that that'd be the time that it breaks. Okay. And I release the back. There you go. So... I feel like this is viceable. Especially just for the top part here. Start getting that cut over there. It is weird device because, once again, not flat. So, let me just twist here a little bit. Sorry for any bouncing that comes with that. There we go. So, just kind of same process continues over here. Start that with the cross. So I'm just trying to get at the ends to kind of transfer these marks across the entire thing of it so I can start going on the back. This is not going to be great. This is not a very viceable piece, but I'm not going to take my own advice and just do it anyway. All right. Okay, that's good enough. It's also starting to shake itself loose. no quick jaws for that vise. So we're just going to flip it, start from this end, this is the higher end, and start doing the same thing. Since that's engaged, we'll just keep that engaged. And then I'll tighten that up, and then I will tighten this up. It's about to say loosen, which is 100% the opposite of that other word. So I do have some wander, but that's fine. Shouldn't be a big issue. Actually, can I... It's like, I want this to be slightly longer. Like, ever so slightly longer. So I can... Yeah, there we go. Just something to wedge it there. It's traveling. Oh, look. Didn't like existing in there. Okay, perfect. And see if I can just find something to extend that a little bit. Christmas blanks for the rescue. Christmas blanks plus more wedging. Wedges. Okay. Hopefully this is enough. I'm just going slow with the smaller teeth just to get the kerf established. Nope. So maybe it is from the other side. Okay. Give it a try from the other side. I still make those calendars, the Far Side calendars. My mom loved those. This is the same guy as a Dilbert guy, right? That'd be unfortunate. Okay, there we go. Also, unusual, I don't usually get to stream this early. I'm usually too tired, but I'm on a work from home week, so I didn't have to drive 40 minutes, 30 minutes to get home. Makes this possible. Although they're doing a update war before planes finally get introduced in the foxhole, and once that happens, I don't know what I'm going to do, because I don't have enough time. I saw Helldivers did an update for invading Cyberstan. That sounds cool. And I still got to get better at volleyball. Like, where do I find all the time? Yeah, my work has the dumbest work from home schedule. It's all compromise. I don't know why anybody thought this was appropriate. So my work from home schedule is 4 weeks on, 4 weeks off. That's it. You don't get to choose the weeks, anything like that. Just 4 weeks on, 4 weeks off. So, just kind of inconvenient for everyone. But I do it because it very often lines up with days that school is closed. Because now that my daughter goes to a proper school, they have proper days off. Like, what is the one coming up now? President's Day? Yeah, President's Day. Like, a lot of workplaces don't get President's Day off. I do. And previously, my daughter's daycare didn't have it off because most work doesn't have it off. But now that she's in regular school, I have her for that day, which is normal. But then the day after, they also have off for some reason. So, she'll be home with me while I work. It's invigorating for her, I'm sure, but what you gonna do? Nope. I'm on back now. All right, we're almost through. But yeah, I mean, I do enjoy the not spending time on the commute. Also, spend less on gas, so that looks nice. And It's not like where I work, I particularly have a lot of coworkers that I like do stuff with. It's like we're all kind of in a cubicle doing our own work, which is, you know, just the way that it stands up. So I don't really need them. I don't really need to be near them. On the whole, their work doesn't impact me. We're not like a team. So, but it's always just like, yeah, you could just pick it up. No, I can lift. Oh wow, okay, I knocked it there, but I almost got the whole bench up. And finishing this will be easiest, probably in the vise. So I'm just gonna pack this up in the vise, try to finish it there. And then we should have 2 blanks that I'll look at and get frustrated because they're not even though there's no chance in heck that they ever would be even. And that's an unrealistic expectation. All right. No, we gotta go. That's another thing about this style of vise. I like it. Has a lot of power. It racks. So I could go find something that's the exact width of this piece that I'm throwing in there, but I feel like that would take more time than just to kind of do it a little bit wrong. It's fine to do it a little bit wrong. That's a little treat. It's a little treat for me. Move that over. Once again, sorry for the wiggle. Yeah, true. It is. Just do it how I want. And this is also just as a reminder, just maple that came down in a storm many years ago. I say many. It was like 4 or 5 years ago, and I just had it in my backyard. We just had a couple storms. I should go see if I can find any more storm logs. I have some from a friend, but they're red oak, so they're fine, and I'm going to use them to make stuff, but you know, they're not maple or cherry, which are the 2 I kind of want from this. Although there is a lumber supply. I think I'm going to go to on Saturday. They seem to have some locals and some domestics and some imports, but I do want to see what their selection is, and they're open on Saturdays, which is not always a given. What am I knocking over? It's not always a given for supply places. It looks to be like a local type, like a Rockler type store or something like that. You know, they have a lot of, especially Festool stuff, but they offer boards, and they also do, what do you call those big ones? Slabs. Not that I'm in the market for slabs. I just want board foot stuff. But it would be nice to get like, what is that, lacewood? Is that what that one's called? The one that's all pretty. I would like to just mess around with a small piece of that. I'll need a lot of it. I can just use an offcut basically, because it's an accent wood. All right, so I'm just figuring out where the last little bit is here. I'm just looking through the light. So in the middle, right around where it starts to get all wavy. Okay. So just trying to figure out the best way to do this again. The best way to do this would probably be flipping this around. Sorry for the wiggle. So try to chuck it up in the vise. See if that does anything. I really just have to get through the middle of it. Actually, I should chuck it up first. I should chuck it up in the clamps before the vise. There we go. Order of operations. And then I'm going to turn this one the wrong way. No. I usually turn that one the wrong way first. Okay, cool. So I'm going to put that just a little bit above the bench to give myself some room. And actually, let me also adjust the vise here, because I want it to be more parallel with the clamps. There we go. Because it was binding, because it was kind of like that, because the face of the Vice isn't flat necessarily. It's based on a wedge that is at the bottom of this. So it was only grasping a small bit because it was like pinching like a little V sort of thing. Pinching like a little V. Sorry, my hands are kind of out of the way. So I just had to adjust the wedge by kicking it over a little bit. So now it's parallel and has that in a death grip. Here we go, Mr. Krabs. Feeling it. I'm also feeling it getting to the point where it's binding because the one side is clamped. I just so badly just want to snap this open. But we've done all this. Can't just undo that. All right, 1, 2. Oh, hey, how you doing, Lizzie? Oh my god, I'm too strong. I've overdone it. All right, let's do the back first. There we go. So, looking through, we're going to try from this side. There we go. Up on there. And start re-racking that there. Then we should have a usable spoon blank. Can do more shaping details. And after this, I probably will just end up splitting it because I looked in a little bit. It was very thin. I know I'm really getting into the bind from the clamps when I'm moving the entire bench sawing. Come on, stay down there. Let me see if I can go grab... Let me grab a wedge here real fast. This should be fine. No, not that. Where is my collection of wedges? Wedge collection. That's the part about reorganizing things. I knew where it was before I cleaned them up. But now that I cleaned them up, I have no clue where they are. So we're just going to grab an offcut. That should be enough. All right. There's like nothing holding that thing together. I think it might just be mostly the clamp pressure that's holding it all together. Yeah. There we go. So now that we have 2 mirrored blanks, we can kind of take a look at what we're actually dealing with as far as when we get to the carving part of it. And we can also make a flatter surface, which will be nice. I could probably chuck this up in something and just get the flat surface using a, what do you call that? A plane. All right, so I'm just closing the vise here, moving the saw so I don't hurt myself on it like I grabbed it earlier. I don't think it showed up on camera because it looked real stupid because I did grab it while I was using it, which is not a smart thing to do. So this is the thinner of the two. I'm just trying to see where they're dished and where they're bowed and everything. So I did also realize that I've marked it and then I cut it in half. So that's not necessarily going to transfer, but that's fine. This one I think is the better one for spoon. The reason why I'm hemming and hauling is this one has some ridges that you might be able to see, which are going to impact the final depth that I can take the carving to. Whereas this one kind of does, but it's not in as disruptive of a place. I think we're just going to YOLO it. We're just going to run it. All right. So I'm going to start by running this one. Let me just try to even this out here. So the handle for a spoon is what, like, about Yeah, we're going to call it about So, don't I have... I have a marking gauge for this. I'm a man of many marking gauges. So, this is a floating point marking gauge. I don't know if that's what they're actually called, but I think it's a mortise and tenon gauge. Because in addition to just having the one spike for marking across, you know, putting it against a reference line and coming across to give yourself one line, on the opposite side, it has 2 spikes. And by the power of 2 spikes, one of them being fixed and the other being mobile, you can use that to lock in a mortise. So I'm trying to get a good view of that. So if I were making a mortise, you'd have your spot there. You can also use it just to make an exclusion zone, which is what I'm going to do here. So we're gonna rough guess it. It's about a 1/2 inch. We can go a little bit fatter. And I'm going to back this all the way out because I don't really need it to reference against much. Oh no, that's too fat. Too fat. Smaller. There we go. So, this is probably good here. And I'm just going to use this to do the first pass here. Just trying to get a scratch in. Scratchy. Scratchy. Once again, these tools are usually on a flat surface already, and this is not doing it into a flat surface. This is doing it from a rough surface, so we're going to get some varying mileage off of it, but that's fine. None of this has to be perfect. So I can see them pretty well. I know it doesn't show up well on camera, so I am just going to expand on where the marks went. Okay, so going straight to the corner has made us a kind of a small handle there. So for the other blank, we'll know that we want to use most of the handle, and that's fine. It's fine to do a bit of practice. So we know that we want to get rid of this stuff. All that stuff is waste. How I'm going to conquer that, that's a strong word to use. How I'm going to deal with that is probably just try to find a way to split it. I don't want to deal with actually sawing that much. So we're going to saw a bit just to give ourselves a shoulder. And I'll move over here. Just pop it over. Sorry for the wiggle. Give myself a shoulder there, so when I do start splitting, it'll stop when it gets up to that part. Raise you up as I cut into the bench. Perfect. Okay. Okay. I'm going to keep you around for now. So we have this corner, so when I start splitting, we can, like, I'll just go grab something and we'll do it live. So I split along these rays, being a little gung-ho about it, but it should pop off when it pops off. This shouldn't be too loud. I think it should be noise dampening it. Yeah, there we go. So that's what I mean. So came right along there. It stopped because there was no connection. It's just a way to give yourself a bit of insurance. It's a bit harder to do over here. The way that you ensure this part is you start doing it away. So I'm just going to give this a little bit of a sharpen with the high grit diamond stone here, or higher. I think this is 800, 600, 700. I don't know. I'm sharpening an axe. Doesn't need to be super sharp. Basically, I just need to get all the rust off the blade and the dirt from when people throw these into the dirt. I know somebody who was selling a bunch of axe heads. He helps manage a axe throwing place, which is just a funny coincidence that after all these years of him doing a bunch of other stuff, that's what he ends up doing. But apparently they don't keep the axe heads from stuff that breaks. They just buy new axes. It's just more time efficient for them than to worry about rehandling them. So it's like $5 per axe head. So I'm gonna go and take a look at him and see if there's any that I can use to blacksmith to try to make like a hewing hatchet, where it has like one side, where it's like flat. Yeah, it's, I mean, I get it. I totally get it. Because like, while it seems better from a cost perspective to repair what is broken, because those places run off super minimum staff. Uh, and the amount of time that it would take somebody on the clock to repair an axe is just, it's not worth it, especially when you buy them in that, because, you know, it's part of a chain. So you get them in a big old pack. Does that have good view? Okay, cool. So it's just like time-wise more efficient to just do that. And, you know, you get something else off of it, which is you sell it for a little bit of cash. What I'm looking for, I was just looking for something to plant this on so I don't jam through the entirety of my bench. Or if I miss, I don't just slam directly into the top here. That's going to make a little bit of sliding, but... I feel like I got to give this a proper sharpen. Not right now, but... Also, this is not an easy wood for it to do it into. See, this is why. When I'm doing that, I'm driving the rest of this into this, and as you see in this hardwood, it makes a dent. Got my eyeglasses on for safety. I actually have sporting glasses now. I got them for volleyball because I've been hit in the face too many times. It was only once, but once is too many. Actually, last week we had a lot of people get hit with balls. We had I wasn't among them, thankfully. I mean, I did jam my finger, but that's me. But we had somebody get smacked directly in the, like, straight line drive, just from a serve, right into somebody's eye. They're fine. They're totally fine. They laughed it off. They just took a weird approach to get to the ball. Just wham! You know, 60 miles an hour. And somebody else took a try at a long ball and ended up jamming their wrist. And that one she needed ice for. But I respect the women that we play with. They're playing on man-sized courts, man-sized nets. And that's not easy, especially because they're shorter people. I mean, they're better than I am. I am easily the shortest person, or easily the worst person at volleyball there. Which is fine. I don't mind. I'm getting better every day. Alright, so we're getting close to that line. Let me just pop my thumb here. Normal glasses, I think, in general, are fine. Like, and it especially depends on what you're throwing, right? Like, if I'm doing anything with a, like, angle grinder, or anything that's going to create a bunch of metal shards, I do safety glasses. Or anything that is fiberglass. I am so afraid of fiberglass. Oh my god. Oh my god. When I was a kid, me and my friend found an old fishing rod down at a creek, and we'd never fished before. So we're just like, yeah, we're kids, we're going to break it. So we did that, and that showered us in fiberglass, just in our coats, because it was winter. So we couldn't take them off, because it's like a mile walk home, it's cold. So we had to walk home just, ow, just filled with fiberglass. Don't recommend. Fiberglass is still very scary. Let me just make sure everything on my bench is staying on my bench. Perfect. Okay. And there we go. I'm hitting the sacrificial piece, which is exactly what I was looking to do. So for getting the belly, because I feel like this is the fast way to do this, but for getting the belly, I got to do something else. I feel like that's probably draw knife territory. It is every generation's asbestos, man. I'm very thankful for the people that found out how to make fiberglass and all it's used for, but man, that stuff's going to be everywhere. You can't take down any buildings with it without the correct stuff, or if you're, you know, just super cavalier, which I'm not. So what I'm doing now is I'm getting a draw knife. and racking this up here. Because I'm getting to the point where I don't want to keep smacking this with an axe because it's getting too close to the edge. So I'm just looking over. Now I want to arrange this. And like I was writing about in the post there, we're probably going to get a spoon-shaped object. So, because I know I'm getting close to time for me. The families will be home soon. So I do want to try to get this part done at least. And so what I'm going to do is just try to one corner. Oh, it's just like just too short. Because like the idea, the goal, yeah, just too short, would be to, yeah, this would do fine. Let me just knock this in here. Non-itchy fiberglass exists? Is that better or worse? I feel like, yeah, it sucks, but it lets you know there's fine particles of glass all over you. I don't know if I want that sensation gone. How do they even make that? Is it just like super fine? Oh, I need you to do your job a little bit better. Just a little bit better. Oh, it's not even the holdfast, it's the wood underneath of it. I do need a bigger piece. There we go. Probably you. You're fine, right? How do you make non-itchy fiberglass? Trying to figure out the cutting angle on this. Oh, I'm definitely going against the grain. That's why. Okay. Oh. Nope. Cool. I got an email from the coordinator for volleyball. So I asked if I could record some stuff. Mostly me, because I'm bad. And I don't know how to get better. And while it is a community volleyball thing, there's not really time to do teaching there. Yeah, I'm going straight against the grain here. Okay. Let me flip that around and see if that helps. Oh. I'll tell you, we get different ads. You would think we would get very similar ads. My algorithm is just terribly confused. It's just like, are you an old chud or what do you want? It's like, no, I don't want any of that. I just like history. I just like history. Stop trying to sell me lubricated catheters or whatever. Ooh, you know what I could probably do? Here we go. Here's the play. Here's the play. Now that I'm doing all this here. Oh no, I'm actually in the way. Oh, homesteading. Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Those are the people that I would expect to talk about it. I thought it was a weird ad, but you know, contractors exist. Contractors definitely watch YouTube and other stuff. I get it. Okay, that tracks. I have a friend who has a similar algorithmic issue. It's like, yeah, I don't like that it keeps trying to, every like 5 months, my feed tries to radicalize me just because I like watching history videos. I'm like, yeah. I wish it would stop doing that. So what I'm doing, you can't see it all because it is mostly off screen, is I have pipe clamps. Pipe clamps are the like woodworking equivalent of if it wants to move and I don't want it to move, this is how I make it stop. So I'm just affixing these to the clamp and the bench, the apron of the bench. So this should keep everything in place. Should. It's not perfect, but I just need to hold on for a little bit more. But they put down hundreds of pounds of force. They're very, very strong. Okay. Like at this point, I'd be more worried about losing the piece. That would be about losing the plants. Okay. You can't see the writing there, but I can see the guidelines. You own a restaurant? Is it giving you the industrial food ads? Because I get those on Facebook. They're like, do you want something that can make a bunch of grape juice really fast? It's like no, but I'm intrigued now. You've caught my attention. I'm just going to also polish this up here real quick. Because it's definitely could be sharper. And where's my honing pad? There we go. Draw knives are such a weird thing to sharpen. They just have such different geometry than most of the other shop tools. I mean, that's before you get to circle knives and hook knives and spoon knives and stuff like that. All right, I think I did that good. Okay, that definitely feels better. Part of it is my angle. Like, this is a thing that you use a shave horse for. But I definitely don't have room in the basement for a shave horse. I do have plans to buy a, or not to buy, I have bought plans to make a treadle lathe. And that's like a phase 3 project. I do have room for it. Not a lot of room. But, what is the name? Not Woodbury, what the heck's his name? He's the old guy that did the PBS show. He did a lot of stuff at Colonial Williamsburg. He made those plans. So, I bought them. One day, I will make a treadle lathe. And then get some sort of exercise while woodworking. I mean, this is all exercise. But there we go. So a little sharpening was what it needed. Also, just a little bit of angle adjustment from me. Also, there are just figures in this wood, like somewhere around here, there's just either a knot or something that I'm missing. I can hear the screws ringing as I do this. It is just so tight up in there. So I was like, what's that buzzing? It's like, oh, that's not buzzing. That's just the sound of multiple mechanical forces fighting each other for dominance. All right, so we're getting pretty close. I'm going to take it out because I have to adjust the angle. But after we spent the first 5 minutes going against the grain, going with the grain has proven much more fruitful. So, I'm really going to have to walk around the other way to do it? Yeah. Yeah, I am. There we go. So, we've got rid of most of this. This is pretty much the part that I want to get rid of. This other stuff's going to be a little bit weird. I could probably carefully chop that out. We're just going to focus on the tail here. And we're going to try to make sure that we have enough chuck up in here so that it doesn't start trying to run away on me or fly back towards me, taking the exposed draw knife blade directly to my stomach. That's fine. I can probably get stabbed once or twice. That's what all the girth is for. The dwarven belly isn't just for show. All right. Looking it back up. Oh, no. Come on. Oh, no, I need you to go the other way. So I've just hit the problem where I have two things that have a pretty big handles, screw handles, thingy things, and the big thingy things are knocking into the thingy things, so I can't complete the rotations on the thingy things. Yeah, let's just do it this way. This one clamp that I'm using is so old. I got it from a restore, and it is an ancient clamp. I don't even know who made it. No, it's an old Craftsman bar clamp. I did not know they made them. In our day, that is a functionally extinct product. Okay. It's kind of nice, actually. It's good as long as it stays trucked up and doesn't start flying at me. Oh, that's another thing. It's just taking corners on this. It's before I was trying to like lift entire sections of it, kind of like if you're splitting, but just be taking corners. It's a lot easier. Because then the top is just a big corner. When you come across it, it's just easier. I don't want to get too aggressive. I don't want to cause a bunch of unnecessary tear out. All right. Close, close. See, at this point, I'm tempted to saw it because it's a relatively straight line, but having fun. That's another thing. I've used a draw knife. I'm definitely not an expert with draw knife, but the little prying action at the end of it definitely helps that go a bit faster. So I go through slide and then I just flick my wrist up. Yeah. Takes a little bit more than I think. Once again, I wouldn't want to do it towards the actual terminal edge of the piece, but for rough shaping, just what a draw knife is. Ooh. I was worried about getting a workout today, but this is it. So we're pretty close. We can always just leave it with some, because we can always take away more we can't really add. So I'm just going to hit the little bits here. Okay. Yeah. Gonna be a perfectionist about it. There we go. Okay. All right. So let me just unleash the beast here. And also let off the hundreds of pounds of force that is kind of scary to deal with. You know what? You're gonna hang out there and maybe fall on the floor. So we've now made something that kind of looks like a steak for vampires, I guess. So the only other place, let me just darken it up here, that we need to get some stuff out of is here. It's down over here. So just going to make the bowl lines a little bit more because they got wiped out due to all the clamping and unclamping. So this is the rough perimeter and stuff that I'm going for. And we're going to figure out actual depth and shape when I get closer there. But this is what we're looking for as I wait for my thing to show up. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh. Do I have a freeze? Oh, pause playback. I guess I tapped something. Okay, cool. So this is the rough shape of it there. So we're pretty close. A lot of this might actually just be whittling too. Man, I want to do more work with it, but I do have to start going. So I have to put the kid down to bed. So next stream, we have spoon-shaped object. I guess I could round that a little bit more and we can call it more closer. Yeah, let's do that. Let me do that. That shouldn't take too long. Let me do this quickly and then immediately regret it because I do something wrong and like cut through a piece, but yeah. Meh, let it ride. All right, that's also interesting. So I definitely, in hitting this, hit something metal because the axe hit something metal because I smell it. Like when you have that spark that like hits like stuff, when you have that like transfer smell, I have that. So I definitely hit something else that was metal. Not sure what. Don't think it's in the piece. I'm just looking for the scrap piece that I was using before. Here we go. Just to kind of rock that in. And then probably, that is an interesting geometry to hit. Okay. Oh. Ah, okay. Like I said, I almost messed it up, but we're good. I came in the wrong way and almost split it up, which would have been a disaster. I mean, not like cosmic scale disaster, but like spoon making disaster, so like a 2. Oh, now I realized I don't have a, I guess that kind of, I don't have a place to set it. Oh wow, okay, well these are made from good plastic. Just immediately chopped into that. Good to know they'll hold up. Yep, you can smell that. How hot is this? Let me burn myself real quick. Not hot, but you can smell it. It smells like melted plastic. Yep, there goes that clamp that I said was going to fall. Perfect. I'll tell you, there is something, although it doesn't sound it, very relaxing about just smacking the bejesus out of something with an axe to make it into something wood than it is to be constantly caring about what you're doing. I mean, I care what I'm doing, obviously, but there's just a reassuring, not reassuring, a nice yellowness to it. Also, I don't have to deal with offcuts and do that thing where you're like, I'm going to keep this offcut. It's going to be so good. Because I've seen my offcuts. I don't know what I was keeping. At the time, you're too deep in the sauce to make good judgment. Okay, cool. Now we are closer to spoon-shaped object. Now let me get the stop off. Oh, okay. So I'm starting to split in. So we're going to stop doing that up there because we just maybe hit part of the wall there, which is fine. It's all learning. So now we have a vaguely spoon-shaped object that I'm once going to have to mark. I'm like this close to just getting out the blue Sharpie, but I don't want to because that stains so deep into the wood. But I'm getting there. So this is a vaguely spoon-shaped object. Yeah, it'll be long enough. It won't be like a pasta spoon. See, you have a fire pit. That's a good way to use it. I have a chimnea that gets used maybe twice a year. Not enough. Not enough. Most of this stuff goes in the trash. But yeah, I mean, I wish I had more ways to use it. But also, like, so many offcuts are just so small. So we're going to be working from this next time. Probably do a bit more whittling. I'll probably end up sawing some of the, like, this cut out just to be safe. And then most will probably be whittling, so I'll need to get a whittling knife, or a knife that I whittle with. Next year is probably going to be something different. I bought a book that I think would be cool to go over. Probably won't be a super long stream, but that'll probably be next week. It depends when it comes in. But after that, then we'll come back to spoons. Just when I have this cleaned up a little bit so we can get more into the spoon shaping part of it. And like I said, that's the first draft. We still have this other piece of the blank that is perfectly usable and good. So that's going to be it for me tonight. I want to thank everybody for joining me here. I've been Mutgren Oatwall from Dad's Old Shop, and I'll put up a thing for when the next stream happens. Because time is a fleeting concept. And I have a lot of personal things that come up in February. Just a big month for us. So, yeah, thank you for joining me, and have a good night.